And joining us are some very eminent panelists for this next session. We have with us Vineet Wadhwa, founder and CEO of Fio Restaurants, with us live. Mr. Wadhwa, may I request you to please come on stage? We have Gitanjali Shah Mandava, hotelier and revivalist, joining us. They run some very beautiful and key heritage properties in Rajasthan. We also have with us Vineet Teng. He, of course, is president of Vatika Hotels, but he also joins us today in his capacity as executive committee member of FHRAI, which, of course, is the very eminent parent body of the hospitality, the hotels and restaurants industry in India. And this session is going to be moderated by senior news editor of NewsX, Megha Sharma. So, Megha, I hand the floor over to you.
Well, thank you, Uday, for giving such a beautiful introduction to all my guests, a very eminent personality sitting over here on the dais with me. Yet again, hospitality has faced a lot of challenges in the last 10 months and more. And all my guests who are sitting over here would have faced it firsthand themselves. There has been no stimulus package whatsoever from the government. There had been a hue and cry in the entire industry, be it the F&B sector, be it the tourism sector, be it the hotel industry, that had been crying hoarse about why nothing has been done for the sector, which is at the bottom rung at this point of time with regards to reviving themselves and getting back to the normalcy. And that's exactly what we are going to go ahead and discuss about. The challenges that every single one of you has had to face in the last 10 months, how you've gone ahead and, strided ahead, taken on the challenges, made them into those important, innovative steps to bring to the resilient place that you are at this point of time. And my first question to Vineet Wadhwa, who's the founder and CEO of Fio Restaurants. Congratulations, sir, for going ahead and encompassing this huge journey of 10 months, first of all, and you're going ahead and also opening up your new restaurant in Gurugram. So talk to us, first of all, about your entire journey. How difficult has it been? How challenging has it been? And how have you been able to cope it up?
Last year was... Is it on?
Yeah.
So last year was quite a shocking kind of a period. And the biggest challenge was to stay afloat. And whatever it took to stay afloat, we did all of that. We conserved our resources, we downsized, and most of all, we postponed a lot of our business plans. But the good part of it all was, learning to, adapting and innovating. That was an absolute new learning. Digital and hygiene stood in the foreground, and it wasn't difficult to actually get things going on hygiene front, because it came very, very easy. It seemed like the biggest agenda for the staff, for the customer, for the owners. So there was a lot of cooperation from the mentalities that we all live with. Business formulas also changed. We really knocked at all possible doors to bring our fixed costs down, may it be the rent, or requested some of our staff members to cooperate with us, and they did. Absolutely, cheers to the staff and the people who made, their ends meet and our ends meet. It was absolutely very, very challenging. The business formulas, which are the way forward from here, are likely to be, very, very different from the past. We are learning to work with less numbers. We are learning to not be in the Chinese game of numbers. So I think that was a great learning of last year.
Okay, and a follow-up question on that with regards to restaurant industry being very labor intensive.
Yes.
And you are running in very, very thin margins. And we all witnessed the exodus that had happened of the migrant laborers going back, reverse migration happening. How difficult was it to actually hold on to your employees? Because keeping in mind the employees form the crux of the entire business mechanism.
I think the loyalty angle came into play. The loyalist, may it be our customers or may it be our staff, I think that was the biggest forte of this whole experience. There was a lot of play from media, which helped us to understand as how to handle the situation. And the persistent vendors, we really didn't have to go out to the vendors to get anything. I mean, things were really flowing in through the doors. There was a lot of self-consciousness of us. We put ourselves in the place of a customer, and that is when we innovated a lot and brought the whole experience on the table.
Interesting. I'll pose the same question to Gitanjali Shah Mandwa, hotelier and revivalist. You own a large number of heritage hotels, and there are peculiar problems to that as well, keeping in mind that your footfall is mostly foreign tourists. And Mandwa had been the focal point, especially because there was an Italian cluster that had broken out. And if you could just explain to our viewers this particular story.
So the Italians, the first story of COVID which broke in Rajasthan was a group of Italians, and they landed in Delhi on, I think, around the 20th of Feb. And their first stopover was Mandawa. And from Mandawa they went on to Bikaner, Jaisalmer. They did the entire Rajasthan circuit. And when they came back to Delhi, a few of them tested positive. So then all hell broke loose in Mandawa. We had doctors from Jaipur who came down, and they tested all the staff. Whoever had a cold or who was little under the weather were taken away to the district headquarters and quarantined. But fortunately, no one tested positive. They took random samples from the village. Everyone was clear. But and that was in the initial stages when none of us knew what COVID was all about. So it was difficult. It was I was there that time, and it was a bit it was a shocker actually, that the way everyone descended and shut down everything. But then for the next few months, of course, the lockdown came, and ours being a heritage hotel, we cannot think in isolation of just the hotel. For us, it's the whole system, it's the village, the surrounding areas. And most of our staff comes from Mandawa or from nearby, so it's not as though we can lay off staff. It's much more than just running a hotel. It's our identity, and it's loyalties which have been built over generations. So there was no question of letting staff go. A few, yes, of course, and we also have some staff from Himachal who went back home, and then they are trickling in now. But having said that, Mandawa being the first focal point of COVID, when we reopened and the Rajasthan government allowed gatherings to take place and shootings to happen, Mandawa was also the first place where a web series was shot for over almost 2 months. And it was quite commendable. The staff, even the entire unit. So we created a bubble, followed all the guidelines laid down. And we had, between Castle Mandawa and the Desert Resort, we had almost, I think about 350 people staying on the property, because even the labor, the technicians, the actors, everyone was on site. But because it was managed and strict precautions were put into place, nobody got infected. And touch wood, that went well. So
that's quite the turnaround. That's quite the turnaround, and a huge round of applause, especially keeping in mind that the dedication, the micromanaging that is required. The first cluster, all the focus on the hotel premises,
Absolutely.
all the wrong reasons, and then becoming victorious, ensuring every single protocol is brought about on the ground. at the hotel premises, and that shoot taking place.
Yeah, so kudos
Commendable.
to the staff, to the director who was very hands-on. Any gaps he pointed out at once, which we filled. So I think that's what helped us get back on our feet.
And what's the situation now at this point of time, keeping in mind that tourist flights are definitely not coming into India, and your footfall traditionally being international tourists?
So 85% of our business, I would say, was international tourists, and we've had to rethink. But it's in a way it's been a learning curve, and we've all remodeled ourselves. I feel properties like us, if we are within a 5-hour radius from a big city, that should be our target. Social media marketing, also long stays. We have to re-engineer ourselves to accommodate long stays so that a family can come. The children can do their online studies, and whatever work has to be done can be done at the resort or the castle. And also you have to see how the other industries are shaping up. For example, the entertainment industry, the travel industry, what are the agents doing, what are they bringing in now? Because even their business is completely shut down. So we are looking at targeting web series. The entertainment industry has also moved to web series. So targeting the web series, targeting weddings, small conferences. So I think we are in a better place than the city hotels to accommodate all this. And also you have to see your whole financial arrangement and the way you're running the place. If it's a large property, maybe we can only run it at 50% occupancy and raise the ARR. Everyone has to see their own model and decide. So our Mandawa properties are doing well. Our Jaipur property is still very slow.
But do you think also this is a blessing in disguise, keeping in mind that now there's a lot of domestic footfall that is taking place? You've had to make those measures, those innovations, those changes, but that's reaping fruit at this time.
Absolutely. I think we needed to make this change, and this situation has forced us to make that change. Otherwise, we would have dragged our feet, I feel. And the staff has also, realigned, relearned a lot of things. Our cooks have relearned because the food has changed completely. And I think this time for retrospection and has been good for us.
Okay, brilliant. I'll also introduce my third guest on the panel, Vineet Tang, EC member, FHRAI, and president of Vatika Hotels. First of all, Vineet, welcome on the show. Your personal experience running a hotel, similar experiences as Gitanjali, similar experiences as the FIO Hotel over there, FIO Restaurant over there, trying to figure out challenges. What was your personal experience like?
See, COVID-19 is not an not an untold story. Everyone knows well about it now. It's been 9 months, 10 months, and we all have been bleeding profusely in the entire industry. And tourism and hospitality industry is around 10% of our GDP, and we offer around 87.5 million jobs across, and this is direct. There are several industries which are directly, indirectly associated with us, taking the numbers in multiples. And having said that, the hit that our industry has got has been tremendous, and we have bleeded profusely over these months. FHRA, which is Federation Hotel Association of India, has given a lot of representations to ministries, to governments, and the central governments have been very active, and they have further given several recommendations to state governments, but the implementation at the state government's end for these benefits that have been recommended by the central governments are on a slagging end, and need a lot of support from these state governments to have that push. There have been several rebates recommended by the central governments regarding the fixed energy charges, like property taxes being reduced to 50%, like license fee being waived off, and so on. But very few of them have been, very few states have adhered to it and passed on, but majority of them have not. Through your channel, I once again urge the government and state governments to at least look at it and help us survive. You know, the normal phenomena is that, you know, the hotel and restaurant industry means, oh, they're cash rich. It's
That's the myth. That's the myth,
You know,
and that's what needs to be clarified
it's
over here.
completely unlike. It's completely unlike. We have our own debts, and we know how we have been surviving on those debts over these periods. Each and every one has had his own debts. Some may have more, some may have less, but the larger the hotel, more the debts. And with the current scenarios, the debts have increased and the valuation has decreased. So one can understand what situation the smaller and bigger hotels or even restaurants are in. You know, there's only one state government as of now, which is Maharashtra, which has given an industry status to hotel industry, which may benefit us a long way. And other states have also been thinking over it, but none have acted till now. Once again, urge and request them to look at this, because this is going to help us a lot in many ways, give us a lot of benefits, help us survive. You know, governments have passed on messages, central governments, that, you know, we shall be allowed to restructure our loans.
Right.
But somehow there have been apprehensions from the bank's end. So this is again hitting us hard. We rather suggest and request if, you know, an extension of term loans could be done for next 5 years, and so on. So these are the challenges.
Okay.
You know,
And you being, you know, the liaison between the hotel and the F&B industry and the ministries, how many hotels are part of the FHRI community? How many times have you been able to, you know, go ahead and communicate with the government's ministries? You've already mentioned about the GST moratoriums, providing an industry status to the hotel industry as well. But you know, if you could reiterate those issues that you have been continuously working upon for the past 10 months or more.
see, moratoriums have been there, but they're off now. They were there for the entire country for a limited period, whereas our industry will only survive. Places like, you know, tourist destinations and resorts have started surviving because people are fed up and tired. And the domestic tourism has helped them survive to some extent, starting last month only. You know, like Himachal had a choco-block with the first rainfall.
Okay.
So there were some resorts around, in and around cities, have had responses, good responses, but majority of the metro hotels have been profusely bleeding. And this will only happen when the commerce and trade, along with international travel, starts in, which is far away from the site currently. And to survive this period and to survive these people, it is a mammoth task.
It is a mammoth task, and the onus is on you, the burden is on your shoulders squarely.
As per the latest Howarth report in September 20, last year, April, May, June, India sold around 9,000 rooms.
Okay.
And in the year 2020, April, May, June, it's been 19,000. So you can imagine that we have had a drop of more than 80%.
Yeah.
Business drop of more than 80%, not just to the tourism and hospitality industry, but all the related industries. So one can imagine what these, these industries have been undergoing.
But I thank all my guests for joining me on this very special telecast we're going ahead and holding over here at the Piccadilly, New Delhi. Vineet Vadva, founder and CEO of Fio Restaurants, Gitanjali Shah Mandawa, hotelier and revivalist, and of course Vineet Tang, EC member, FHRAI and president of Vatika Hotels. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for us having hosted them and them sharing their challenges and narratives and how they've gone ahead and turned out the industry on its head and doing a fabulous job at that. Thank you very much.